Fathers and daughters are each other's closest and most beloved people. For a daughter, it is a wonderful thing to know that her father loves her the most. And it's very distressing to know that that makes other people envious and that it makes her mother jealous. So many daughters have great conflicts about their relationship to their fathers. When the father is very loving and very kind and very generous to the daughter, then there's the danger that that will alienate mother. And daughters can sometimes turn to their mother and ally with their mother against the father, paradoxically, because they feel he loves them so much. I think that every father-daughter relationship is different. Every father-daughter relationship is important to both people. And in treatment, I see people who barely speak of their fathers, even though they have had fathers who were, as far as I can tell, very nice to them in their childhood and very accepting of them in their adulthood. One such person speaks constantly of her erotic attachment to her mother and her feeling that women are the only people who can understand her and women are the only people she can trust. And she speaks of her father as if he were an accessory that her mother might take out to dinner or not, that her mother might take on a vacation with her the way she would take her suitcase. She denigrates her father completely and regards her mother's put down of the father as if it were the gospel truth. For her, it has been very important to see that she treats her husband differently, so that she has chosen a husband who she respects and who has very good career and who is a good father to their children, but whom she then denigrates in a way that her mother did not denigrate her father. The one thing that her mother doesn't denigrate her father about is his sexuality. So my patient, in her effort to be different than her mother, is the same in that she denigrates her husband as well. And she struggles with this, very, very bitterly struggles with this, and would like to be able to truly respect him in all the ways that he respects her. So that's one outcome of a father-daughter relationship where the daughter was unable to see the father as someone to respect and to admire, and therefore cannot see her husband as someone to respect and to admire. This kind of relationship is very fraught. Another example of a woman who was much loved by her father and found it very problematic is a woman whose other siblings were very envious of the father's relationship with her. She was the oldest child, she was his first, and he adored her and took very, very great pride in her accomplishments and achievements. The other children he was interested in mildly, but he did not take them to dancing school, did not teach them to ice skate, did not teach them to shoot, did not teach them any of his favorite hobbies. She was his companion, and for that reason, she has had great trouble getting along with her siblings. Her siblings blame her for having too much. And in her life, she actually has more than any of her siblings, so that she is constantly worried about their envy and their wanting to deprive her of what she has. And this has also affected her relationship with her own children and her relationship with her husband. So that's two examples of women who have had very close and loving fathers who still have problems with the father-daughter relationship. On the other hand, there are women who feel that their fathers do not invest in them, do not care about them the way these women would like to be cared about. One example in my practice is a woman whose father called her in one day to his office and said, "I hear you're interested in this business that I have, but you may not ever be anything here but a bookkeeper. This business is for my son." That woman had a very complicated relationship with her father in that she felt rejected by him. Luckily, she had a grandfather who not only rejected the father's view of her, but also thought she was wonderful and helped her to feel like she was a very important and very valuable person and would take her to work with him when she was a very little girl, so that she was able to reject her father's view of her as not being competent to run a business, and was able to go on and have a successful career of her own. However, this resulted in a great deal of guilt and a great deal of loss of connection to that father, whom she never really forgave for what he did to her. Another woman was quite neglected by her father. Her father didn't dislike her or disparage her in any way, but he didn't seem to notice her. He didn't enjoy her achievements. He didn't feel happy when she brought home report cards with good grades. He would say, "That's all right, but it's not going to help you get married." And she felt impelled to prove him wrong. And she spent most of her early years developing her career, and at age 45 suddenly looked around and thought, "I don't have a family, I won't have a family, I'm cheated, I didn't get the thing that would have given me the most joy in life." She had been her father's third child, I think, and the two older children were boys, so that she might have, in some families, had a very special place in being the girly girl. But in her family, she didn't, or at least she didn't feel that she did. So for her, the intense need to prove that she could be what her father would respect, that she could have a career that turned out, in fact, even better than either of her brothers, shut out the other possibilities in her life and left her feeling like she had somehow been cheated. Now, these are all examples of people who sought long-term therapy for the misery they were in. And I think that there are many families where this kind of thing happens, but the person, the daughter, manages to compensate, manages to draw from other sources what she might have gotten from her father, and manages to have a life that is satisfying to her. So, while fathers are important, I don't think they're all important. I think there's lots of room for other people in the person's life to amend and improve whatever went not so well in the father-daughter relationship. Okay, finished.